Hey there, welcome to the December 25th, 2025 Christmas special holiday episode of the Coffee Solo audio program. Today is actually the Retrospective 2025 episode. I've been doing these episodes for each of my audio programs, same title, so they're easy to spot. This is the last full week of the year, so I figured it would work out nicely to do this today. Or do it this week. So this is episode 2025, 12/25/01. It's a lot of 2s and 5s. Too bad we're not playing Liar's Poker. The show notes, wherever you found this audio program, contain a summary, which I have written ahead of time. I've written all of this ahead of time because I wanted to make sure I had a few things that I'm recalling and retrospecting on. So the summary, this being the final full week of 2025, it seemed appropriate to make not a wrap-up episode, but a retrospective for each of my audio programs, including this one. So a little repetitive there. I got a lot of wrap-ups, which I will mention. The links, as always, point to where you can find this audio program, where it is initially published on Ko-fi.com, ko-fi.com/danhugo/posts. Quick reminder that this audio program and the Buy Me an Update audio program, which is published on Monday mornings, 5 minutes, quick summary of the previous week's audio programs and any news and announcements upcoming. And this one are published on danhugo.com. That will be the primary point of publication for these two programs, at least these two. I'm trying to have a homepage or a primary point of publication for all of my audio or other programs, like everything. So I'm not completely dependent on services like Spotify, YouTube even. Those serve as secondary. So I want to have a place where you can always find my audio programs. Now, I've said this before. I've been saying it for too long now that these are works in progress. So they're not done. The Dan Hugo, the FFS Talk, the Quaggling Sand, the Cafe Genius. The Innovate for Vegas Foundation website is much closer to being a real website, but that's for our nonprofit, so different thing. And then don't forget buymeacoffee.com/danhugo. That has links to everything as well, so you can always find stuff. The stuff I'm working on, the stuff I'm publishing, some affiliate links. You don't have to spend any money there, but you can if you want to. You can actually buy me a coffee. All proceeds from that site do go towards coffee stuff, beans, accessories, whatever. I can't remember the last time I purchased a coffee at a coffee shop. There's nothing wrong with coffee shops, but I mean, I don't need. There was a time longer than a year ago. So out of the retrospective blast radius, but there was a time when going to Starbucks or something, that was just how I got coffee. I think that's why Starbucks is what it is. When I was in Silicon Valley, I used to drive to work. So I would drive. There was a drive-through Starbucks on the way, technically on the way. I used to pull in there, get a venti, whatever. I would start my day with a venti frappuccino, like mocha chip frappuccino. I think that was my go-to order. I should have just asked for a cup of sugar. It would have been cheaper. Anyway, so yeah, there you go. Those are the particulars for each episode of this audio program, and will help you find all the other ones. I did create, and there's one more to do, but I've created individual, despite the fact that they're all named the same, individually custom. They're different episodes, so each of my audio programs has its own. So let's get started. And again, I've written all this stuff out. I'm drinking some yerba mate tea this morning. It's I didn't even mention the time. Geez, it's 8:58 a.m. Pacific Standard Time here in Greater Vegas, and it is Thursday, December 25, 2025. Published FFS Talk, which I recorded last night. That got published this morning, or no, it's publishing. Should be publishing right now. Scheduled publish. So yeah, good stuff. Okay then. So I think the wrapped content notion has been vastly overdone this year, and people posting. This reminds me of the "you have a new memory" message that I get now and then from, I think it might be Amazon Photos, which I do make use of, actually. So Amazon has found a new memory for you. And it's like, well, you're getting that from my photos. I actually already have these memories and I have photos to go with them. So how can I have a new memory of something I already remember? That's not a new memory. A new memory is what I'm forming right now. So yeah, I think platforms are making far too much of retrospection or sentiment. It's just kind of creepy. It's kind of weird, and people are leaning into it too much, I think. I don't need a wrap up of my posts on which one of the Mastodon servers. I have accounts on 4 different servers. One of them sent out a Fed wrap up or something. I was like, come on. A summary of a timeline that's why I have a timeline. That's what it is. The entire timeline is a retrospective, right? So anyway, I just find those kind of silly, but I figured, I may as well actually look back at the year because it is so fashionable. Last night before I recorded the retrospective episode of FFS Talk, I watched a reaction video of The Martian, the Dan Weir, is that how you say his name? Weir, I think it is. A book turned into a movie with what's his name? Matt Damon. Thank you. Playing not quite like Castaway, but almost. Basically, him by himself on a planet instead of an island. I enjoy watching reaction videos. Some insights, only some, into the way the world today is watching people watch movies of yesterday. That didn't even make sense. I get some sort of a sense of what people are like today. If people in the sort of the current day watch movies that I watched when I was their age, probably in the past. So The Martian came out a little bit more recently, but to see people today in their 20s, 30s, maybe even older, but watching movies from the 80s, maybe the 90s, that's when we would go see movies when I was in high school all the time. And we were very fond of watching movies when I was in college. It was a diversion from homework and so on. So to see people today reacting to those same movies, it's interesting to me that they do. It probably makes better money for them that they react to those movies rather than modern day movies, which are mostly garbage. But so The Martian is... in FFS Talk, I point out that this past year has become quite apparent that teamwork at national, even state scale is troubling. It's not always easy to find. And I mean, it's not gone. It's not missing entirely. But, the FFS Talk audio program, the basic underlying structure is what works, what doesn't, what can we do about it. And so who is we? It's not always very clear. But, and The Martian is an example of all this concerted effort to bring one person home from Mars. It's the very human thing to do. People banding together to solve a problem, etc. I'm really looking forward to the project. Man, my voice is all over the place. As usual, I could do an entire episode of just my voice not being completely functional or on my side for any of my audio programs. It's kind of driving me crazy. So I'm really looking forward to the Project Hail Mary movie coming out allegedly in March of 2026, I think. I read both the Martian and Project Hail Mary books. Also the Artemis book from Dan Weir, and that's not as good. Don't even bother with that one. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Project Hail Mary is the better book. It's better than The Martian, although The Martian was good. The Martian was too wordy. Too much, because it's one person describing everything, it gets into some excruciating detail. I think the Project Hail Mary, which I will not spoil based on the book, but Project Hail Mary just has more opportunity for conversational sort of details, exposition. So it's not all conversational, but anyway, and Project Hail Mary was just more of a fun read, I guess you could say. They're both good. They're both good books, and they're both, people will nitpick on the science, but they both got pretty detailed. The books got much more detailed. The Martian book, I should say, I don't know about the movie. The Martian book got much more detailed on some of the finer points. The movie was obviously a little bit more simple because you only got 2 hours, right? Give or take. But The movie ending of The Martian, however, was better than the ending in the book. I will say that. So the book plus movie does not always go to the obvious. Oh, the book was better. The Martian was better. The book was better, but for all that detail and all that, like, it's essentially like listening to a narrator of a movie, right? You're like, oh, but that's how books are, right? You can't really show. Everything is tell. So the movie, they replaced that with the video logs. So anyway, I thought The Martian was pretty well done. The Project Hail Mary trailers look pretty solid. So I have high hopes for PHM. The source material is a winner. So hopefully they've made maximal use of that. If you have not read the book, you should read the book. I will even venture to, well, I mean, if you really want to be surprised, then don't read the book before you see the movie, but the book is good. So I would suggest you could go either way and you'll come out ahead. You win. It's a good book. It's a good story. It's a good premise. It's kind of unusual. Speaking of unusual, I'm calling it audible. I did get a Black Friday subscription to Apple TV. I've been trying to cut down on streaming services. So I have my Prime TV or Prime Video, I guess. And so I ditched Hulu even. The price increase was ridiculous. I had Hulu for a decade or something, just ridiculous. And I used to watch a lot of stuff on there, but yeah, now not so much. So yeah, Apple TV promo, I don't know if it was like three months, half price or whatever. So I figured, I want to check out this Pluribus show. So I've watched all of Pluribus season 1. I have watched both seasons of Severance. I watched the full season 1 of Your Friends and Neighbors, and they were okay. So it will be a year until the next seasons of those 3 shows are back with a new season. So I don't imagine I'll be keeping the Apple TV, but it is what it is. But anyway, some interesting content, and that's the point with Project Hail Mary, with Pluribus to some extent, although I've never seen, I did not watch the entire Breaking Bad, nor Better Call Saul, nor what's the other one he did? Anyway, I was really not familiar with the structure of a Vince Gilligan serial. So that was interesting. And the Severance was a really good first season, second season, So I'm kind of wondering if Apple TV productions are going to follow this pattern of like, oh, the ending was kind of weird, clearly setting up for the next season. And that's what TV is wont to do. But if the next season is going to be more than a year away, that's bizarre to me. Like, this is how TV is now. There's really no rigor. And I don't know that the long delays are always paid off. So I'm just complaining. I should watch less TV anyway. It just occurred to me, today is Christmas Day. Why am I producing audio programs in Vegas? Should I not be at a family gathering for the holidays somewhere, probably in the Phoenix area? Well, so a long time ago, I think I was in college when I did not go home for Thanksgiving. And initially that was kind of a shock just from the momentum of family gatherings. But it started to become apparent that, like, okay, traveling for holidays is a ruse. It's kind of like the diamond marketplace, the De Beers conspiracy. Like, oh, we know we're going to convince everyone to travel, so we'll do all of our bookkeeping and projections and finances based on this assumption that people have to travel because we've told them that they have to travel. So yeah, it's my little conspiracy theory. But we started doing like, oh, we can just do holidays whenever we want. We don't have to look at a calendar first. I find that particularly frustrating. People who only contact you on your birthday or on holidays, they look at a calendar and go, oh, I guess now is a time when I should reach out to this person I haven't talked to since last year or whatever. So I think if I want to go to Phoenix, I should go to Phoenix. I should not check the calendar and say, oh, I can go there for Christmas or New Year's or Halloween or whatever. So I have a sort of a it's a moral imperative to go when you want to go, or not look at a calendar or follow the masses. If you look at China for their Lunar New Year, that's the single largest migration of humans on the planet. And it's pretty much every year because so many millions of people are moving between where they work and where their family lives, like their parents and so on, right? So, yeah, hundreds of millions of people. And they count it as travel legs. So it might be one person, but it takes like 5 different, a train and a plane and a bus and I don't know. So I don't know that it's, I don't know how they're doing that calculation, but suffice to say, it's a lot of people moving around. We don't have that in the US, but it's still a pain. I'm not a fan of holiday travel. When I was traveling for Intel all the time, I would literally not come back to Vegas if I was in another country. I would not come back on Friday. I would try not to leave on Friday, but Friday is a lot of incoming traffic. So if you were planning on coming to Vegas on Friday, but you're not coming here because you live here, and that was always my favorite. I would show somebody my boarding pass as I was going through the gate, security, TSA, and all that crap. Oh, you're going to Vegas? Their face would light up, and I would say, yeah, I live there. And they're like, oh, let all the air out of that balloon. So yeah, flying into Vegas on Friday was always no joy. So I would try to push my returns to Saturday or Tuesday, and the same with departing. Departing on Friday was not so bad, but I would still try to depart on Thursday, return on Monday, for example. So those are preferable. That's for flying. The Flixbus, which still does my trip home if I want. They were doing this promotion when they first established routes in and out of Vegas. They did a promotion where it was it 99 cents or $1 or something each way, and then a $2 processing ticket fee. So I could go to Phoenix and come back home for $5, $4.99. There was probably some sales tax in there or whatever, but so $5. Now, I have not checked the prices today, but I've been looking just to see, get a feel for what the deal is. $40 each way. That's not bad. It's not bad because there's no TSA lines to go through. There's no, there's just no, you're pretty much moving from the time you get on the bus. So instead of going to the airport and waiting, going through the TSA lines, getting, figuring out what to do with your shoes or whatever. Oh, sorry, you can't carry that. You can't bring that on the plane. You can't, your thing is too heavy. You can bring something to go in the hold under the bus, and it can be pretty substantial. I don't remember what the dimensions are, but you can pretty much throw whatever you want in there and then carry something on. So I usually just travel with a backpack, go home for a couple of days. So for $40 each way, you get on the bus and you are on your way. So when all is said and done, the 5-ish hours each way, listen to an audiobook or some podcasts. You should do the same. And I'm home, visit the parents and so on, and jump back on a bus, come back home. Having done as much flying as I have, people will say, oh my God, why would you try it? But it's a change of pace, and it's time to, because internet access on the bus is not great, and because the trip between Vegas and Phoenix is through some rural areas, not always good internet access. So it's good to just be disconnected for a little while, listen to some audio, or read an actual book if you have one. So yeah. So if I go home in January, it'll probably be in January after CES, and it will almost certainly be on a Flixbus. I kind of wish there was a train. A train would be more interesting. I've somewhere on my bucket list is a cross-country train trip. I can't remember what it's called. The Zephyr is the one in California, but the cross-country leg through Chicago and on to New York. I do not remember what that's called. I'm spending a lot of time not speaking with other people. I mostly speak to my microphone, which I'm doing right now. This is something we all prepared for this during the lockdown days, of course, of the pandemic. A lot of, people were still going out for better or worse, but, people got used to being in school online, working online, the whole Zoom meeting thing and all that. I've been feeling as though I'm missing out on my Vegas residency. I do live in Las Vegas, but I really have not taken advantage of that. I live here. I can be downtown in 20 minutes and on to the strip 20 minutes after that for bus fare. So, for $5 for an all-day bus pass, I can have the run of the place. I could be checking out the conservatory at the Bellagio, which I usually do now and then. I don't check it every season when they change it, but they put a lot of work into that, and it does show. It's pretty solid. I should maybe make a New Year's resolution that I will take in Vegas more than I have been in the last year. I'm thinking of heading down there for New Year's Eve, in fact, which I have not done before. I have been on Fremont for New Year's. Let's see. When I first moved here, I spent New Year's Eve on Fremont Avenue in downtown Las Vegas, and the container park had something of a grand opening. I think they were thinking, "Ooh, New Year's Eve, this will be the big splash. People will come to the container park and go crazy." But downtown Las Vegas for the new year, going from 2013 to 2014, was dead. I mean, it was frighteningly empty. So I pretty much had the run of the place and free bus rides. So I took a bus down there. I checked it out, hung out at the container park, met all the people at the boozery, and there wasn't much in the way of restaurants open later in the evening. So hung out there. Nacho Daddy was open. I was the only one there. It was near the bus stop. So I was like, Happy New Year. And there was one woman working behind the bar, and she said, yeah, Happy New Year. She said, "Hey, do you want to try some of this expensive tequila?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." So that was it. Not so exciting. I've never been to the Strip though for New Year's, and apparently, I know that typically it's several 100,000 people come into town for the big celebration, the fireworks, and so on. I didn't see that they were going to hit that number. It sounds like it might be down a bit, but that's been the story of the whole year, which we'll get on. We'll hit that a little bit later. But I figured, you know what? The bus runs for free from 6 p.m. New Year's Eve till I think it's 9 a.m. New Year's Day. It seems a little stingy, if you ask me. But they should be running free buses here more frequently to encourage bus ridership. It would probably cut down on some of the unsafe alternatives. But I'll take it. So I can jump on a bus. Like I said, I can be on the Strip in under an hour and for free each way. Why not? But yeah, I haven't really been talking to people. Even if I go to the gym at 2 a.m, the person working behind the counter really isn't so talkative. There's nobody there at the gym. It's like 10 people, and they're not there to have conversations at 2 a.m. or whatever. So I go to the grocery store across the street. I usually take the long way, so I'll walk like 1.5 miles or sometimes 3 miles if I go the long loop. And I end up at my grocery store, which is directly across the street from where I live. And but I mean, it's an excuse to get out and walk, right? So the people there's like 2-3 people that I speak to on a sort of casual conversation basis. That's really the extent of my in-person interpersonal engagement over the last year. So that's kind of sad. But people in Vegas don't respond to email, so maybe speaking to people in person is more the way to go for this coming year. I've not traveled anywhere all year, speaking of. I sometimes think back to my Intel days when I was traveling weekly around the U.S. and frequently to Ireland, a couple of times to France, to Italy, to the U.K. I probably should have taken more advantage of that and tried to get over to Europe more often and to different places, given the state of affairs today. So I'm thinking maybe that ship has sailed, unironically. Yes, I need to head to Phoenix in January. I've said that already, but generally speaking, I should be getting out into the world, and I have been spending far too much time within 1 mile or 2 of home, and that just cannot be healthy. So gotta snap out of that pattern. I mean, it's obviously more fun when some other, like an employer, is paying for your travel bill. That was fun. That was good times. On the other hand, I do spend a lot of time online. This year was maybe second to the lockdown times, like how much time I spend interacting purely online. But maybe more than the pandemic times. If I'm not online, I'm specifically online, I'm producing audio programs like this one to publish online. I've been trying to get back to beautifying my various websites online, which I really should get to. In all honesty, that's part of a larger picture of things that I need to accomplish. I'm watching news and reaction videos and a variety of YouTube videos on a variety of topics. I've read many books over the course of the year. That is better than nothing. So that's not online. That's more me. But getting out and about is only more essential when I look back over the year and I see just how much the ratios are running against interpersonal human contact, human connection, getting out into the world and so on. It's too easy to just stay home, watch it, let the YouTube videos play and try to accomplish the work at hand. Honestly, that's been probably one of the reasons I've not been accomplishing as much as I would like to. I did an entire episode of the Cafe Genius Impresario's audio program about stall recovery when forward progress has stalled, like some suggestions and ideas. So yeah, I should be drinking my own Kool-Aid. The real problem with this emerging over the last year is not so much the lack of engagement with the real world. It is the rising amount of AI slop appearing online. That is the real problem. It is getting so that we need a Voight-Kampff test. If you're a Blade Runner fan, you know what that is. Or is it Robots Dream of Electric Sheep? Is it robots or androids? What's the title of that book? Do robots dream? Do androids? Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Robots did not sound right. Do androids dream of electric sheep? Yeah, we need a Voight-Kampff test so that we know the process of creating audio and video to go with the audio, with the scripted slop, is getting to be too easy. It's easier, it's better, it's cheaper, better in air quotes, but it's certainly becoming cheaper. There's this content creator. She has what is her company? First mover.ai or something like that. Her channel is Julia McCoy, and she created an avatar of herself, and she calls it Dr. McCoy. So she has a blue Star Trek top on. And when you watch that, so at first I thought she was kidding, but is it first mover.ai? No, it's first something. So what is this? So I used to catch these videos every once in a while. So, some interesting topics, AI, very AI centric. And she would introduce herself as, I'm Dr. McCoy, Julie McCoy's avatar or cyber, whatever. And I was like, oh, that's funny. Haha. Like she's kidding around. But then I started noticing, I was like, oh, she's making the same gestures and it looks kind of, so then the uncanny valley started coming into play here. First movers AI. Yeah, there you go. I don't know how credible she is, to be honest, but so she did create a video of, so Julia McCoy, JuliaMcCoy is her channel on YouTube. And the picture is her in the Star Trek thing. So she created this video of how, this is how I made my avatar or whatever it is. And, AI clone. She calls herself an AI clone, I guess. So she claims she writes the scripts, but that the automation is the video and so on. But then when she did her Here's How I Did This video, which she recently posted like a summary clip that's 11 minutes. The original one was from like 10 months ago or 8 months ago or something, and it was much longer, much more detailed. But how I cloned myself with HeyGen and 11 Labs. So she did a few video captures and captured her voice. But then she said she has Claude write the script based on her research. So to me, that is that's some hand waving about being a human humanly run, human authored, whatever. She makes some claims about of actually writing the scripts herself. So, but when you watch this, you're like, oh, anybody could do this. It's not even funny anymore. People can just make automated content all day. Now, she has a human editor that does a final post-production, and you can see sometimes the cuts are not totally clean because it's a one camera on this, one virtual camera on the AI clone, and so any cuts they're gonna show. So occasionally the cuts are like very obvious. 2 cameras would help, or cuts to B-roll or something. But at the end of the day, you're like, okay, not horrible, but not as good as once you see it, you can't unsee it. How about that? So I'm concerned that this is basically the direction that things are going, and I think that's going to be horrible. I read recently that there is some company, I'm sure there's more than one, touting its ability to publish 4,000 automated podcast episodes per day. I can come close to that, but not quite. That volume of video from one publisher can't be far behind. So it would be possible to literally flood the universe with, basically zero labor, nearly zero production cost content that would then be ad driven for revenue generation. And so why would you even watch a human when you can just watch endless rambling like this one? No, but you can always pick up the pronunciation. I just watched something. I was like, this is probably automated. And then they pronounced Fontainebleau. They said Fontainebleau. And I said, oh, okay. So they get the words wrong every once in a while, but that's why we need a void conf test to automate the process of determining if it's not really. It would be nice, though, if people would adhere to the generated content flags and so on. And it's not always clear to me that they're doing that. So it's the nature of where we're headed, and I don't like it. Yeah, I was literally watching. What was it? It was Talk Vegas. What is it called? Talk About Vegas. Talk About Vegas. It has 2 people in the profile picture. It has 1 person in the thumbs, and it kind of looks like the same person. The voice sounds like it doesn't belong to any of these people, and it mispronounced the Fontainebleau, of course. They've had a channel since 2013. They joined in 2013. That doesn't say that they've been creating content since then, but joined in 2013. They have 16 videos, and they look like they're just pure AI slop. So that's encouraging. The future does not look bright. On the other hand, this past year in Vegas, I do live in Las Vegas. I live in the city of Las Vegas, in fact, has been almost nonstop pessimism regarding Vegas, though with good reason. Tourism is down as focus on high rollers, big spenders, the so-called whales, has shifted the very nature of Vegas from a fun place to hang out on the weekend. We're going to Vegas. Right now, it's like, we can't afford to go to Vegas. It's become a place almost explicitly driving people looking for fun to go elsewhere. Fees, high prices, ridiculous room rates. I'm more than a little concerned about this, given that one of my startup project ideas, the Sentiment Research Collaboratory, which focuses on people visiting the area to engage new product and service ideas, may become less interesting if fewer people are coming here. Now, the numbers are not drastically bad to the casual observer, but something like 8% for the total year. It's been as high as I think 11% over the summer, one of the months. But I think it's 8% overall for the year, and December is obviously not done yet. But say it's 8%. It's not trivial when we're talking billions of dollars probably of revenue, not to mention actual gaming. But just rooms, right? If you're off by, say it's 10%, and we were getting something like, what is it for? So 3 million people a month, 3.5. So if you leave off 100,000 people a month, I'm just randomly throwing numbers around, 100,000 people a month times $100 per day for rooms. I'm sorry, 200, maybe 300, could be anything. I mean, that just from occupancy, just from room payments, not to mention the fees, not to mention eating and I mean, all those numbers really start to add up very quickly. So 8% is non-trivial when your economy, an extraction economy that we have, is so tied to those people spending money. They got to leave some of that here for us. So it really adds up, and I can see where that's a problem. But that's been like most YouTubers that do their Vegas content have been chiming in through the year about how, look how dead it is. No, look how packed it is. So there's this little information war, which is a completely different website. But that's been interesting to watch, that people are so passionate about trying to convince people that they got it figured out. So it remains to be seen. I think people are sort of getting it. But the problem is the impact on small businesses and normal people in Vegas is controlled essentially by the big players, the strip casinos, the Clark County Commission, the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority. They plan around tourism and the fun economy, trademark held by the UNLV Office of Economic Development since February 2025. So fun economy is where it's at. You can look at the Formula One story and see how the negative impact on smaller businesses and just in general, they're like, no, but as long as the big players make money. So I think there's a general lopsidedness, and it makes for an interesting business environment and interesting thing. So we'll see. This year has been interesting because of this downturn, and we'll see what 2026 turns into, but they're not going to turn it around in a week. So even though they did have sales, like deep discounted sales, and they're trying to offer local discounts, and you're like, you can't really discount yourself out of this. You gotta rethink some of the strategy. Be attractive to more people. So that's my opinion. That will make that opinion, or my analysis of it and some thoughts in general, will make more appearances through this year upcoming in the Cafe Genius Impresarios audio program. So we'll leave that there for now. I did open mic only one time in 2025, which is kind of shocking. I would have thought I would have, maybe 2 more times through the year, but nope, just once. And it was at Wise Guys downtown again. I do like that spot. It's fun, but I should get out more. There are other places to try at some point, and they'll probably offer more than the 3 minutes that you get at Wise Guys. This goes to the getting out more thing for 2026. Though I also need to write more material. Can't just stand. I'm not good at improv, getting up there and just rambling. I should be practicing that on this channel. So in general for 2026, I will also try to improv more on this rather than doing so much writing ahead of time. I do like the entire stand-up comedy notion. I like to watch stand-up comedians. I like to, that's about it. The good ones are good. The bad ones are possibly getting good. You never know. Open mic provides something of a glimpse into that. You would never call yourself a stand-up comedian if you have done open mic. Although stand-up comedians do open mic to try out their new material. But I do not consider myself, nor should anyone that only does open mics. They are not actual comedians. But I do really have a mission to pursue I do not really have a mission to pursue comedy. I'm not interested in becoming the next, fill in the blank. I don't have a message to spread or deeper meanings to drive home. I just take it as a challenge to craft my 3 minutes, or some places may have more, like 5 minutes, you never know, and see if I can get a laugh or two. To be honest, I think open mic is a good way to practice public speaking in general. And I should be doing more public speaking. So it's good to be able to get up in front of people and feel as though you're being judged and then emerge victorious at the end. So in general, the open mic experience has been a very positive one for me the several times I've done it since I've lived here in Vegas. But I have not done it enough for 2025. I should probably, I did it like 3 times in 24, I think. So I should be doing it every couple of months or more. Not once. Once is not sufficient. I already talked about the Innovate for Vegas Foundation Board of Directors, PETA. That's a pain in the butt situation in the Let's Innovate for Vegas retrospective earlier this week. So we had a board of 3 directors, and now we have 1, that's me, Suffice to say, this two-person departure, which was a good thing, and I'm glad that they moved on, is just two more people who are disappointing. I encounter a lot of people who are apathetic. They will make claims that they are not, but they end up not doing anything, and they're a time suck. I encounter them all the time via LinkedIn. I've added like 200 people maybe to my LinkedIn network, and almost none of them are interactive at all. Like, why bother? Why bother accepting an invitation to connect and then completely ignore any outreach or communication? 100%. So that's 2026 is going to be the year of backing away from LinkedIn for real. I don't really post on LinkedIn anymore, even though we have pages for Innovate for Vegas Foundation and Cafe Genius. No engagement. Got 837, I think, followers of our Innovate for Vegas page. Zero engagement. Totally not worthwhile. So I need to back away from LinkedIn. Bottom line. I just as I already had with the other legacy platforms. So I don't really use Twitter. I don't use Twitter. I still have a Twitter account, because when you have services like Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and probably others that require you, and LinkedIn, in fact, you have to log in to read anything. Somebody posts a Facebook link and you have to, I can't read the whole thing if I'm not logged in. Well, then you have to have an account of some sort. So I still have Facebook account, LinkedIn account, Instagram account, Twitter account. I just don't post on those things anymore. And so the LinkedIn pages will go the way of Facebook, right? They will exist. I just will stop updating them. Now they may persist a little bit longer with an occasional update, but nobody does anything when I post on there. Doesn't lead to any sort of interest or outreach or responses of any kind. So why bother, right? That's the nature of the thing. And besides, LinkedIn is becoming Instagram. If you get into the brand manager, LinkedIn content creator tract, it's basically Instagram women who like to post selfies. There are probably men doing this too, but the algorithm has fed me a stream of women who are they're in India, they're in Dubai, they're sometimes in the US, they're in London, so they're all over the place. They are out of college. They basically have started their own companies to do content creation for LinkedIn, brand management, etc. There are some other people, but the photos are all selfies. They're all Instagram style, inappropriate for LinkedIn, right? Like these are not business photos. These are pick-me photos. So that has become the thing with LinkedIn. So it's kind of just another step along the why am I making use of this platform? Nobody responds to anything. It's becoming Instagram. It's kind of a waste of time. So the network graph is sort of useful. It's interesting to know who is working where and who knows whom and whatnot. But at the end of the day, if nobody responds or interacts in any way, it becomes literally just a graph. So that's basically what it's relegated to for me and for my uses. LinkedIn is kind of out the window. I generally want to move back to self-publishing. I've talked about Posse on at least one of my other audio programs. Publish on your own server or site and syndicate elsewhere or everywhere. So POSSE. It's how the internet started. Oh, get your own domain or publish on your college computer or wherever, right? Wherever you can post up your stuff. You control it. Buy your own domain, which I did back in 1996. Reallycool.com was my first domain, which I still have. My email address, Hugo@reallycool.com, is an address that I've had since 1996, right? So it's still going. That plan worked. So returning to self-publishing, I shouldn't have to point people to my LinkedIn profile. I should point them to me. The LinkedIn profile should always point to me. I always tell people, don't send me direct messages on LinkedIn. Just email me. That's why I have an email address. You can contact me. There was a time when I ran my own mail server. So email was not going through Google. We should all embrace that and stop letting Google decide which email is spam and which isn't. Even though they've done a good job, but they do a lot of steering. Like you got to keep Gmail happy. Otherwise people won't get your messages, right? I had to put in some more hot water into my yerba mate. So hopefully that silence will be truncated, but that was an extended pause there. Hang on. I'm still here. So yeah, I think LinkedIn is sort of that last practical social media platform or social network platform, but it's becoming a social media platform. Somebody was commenting about how LinkedIn is becoming slop, which is totally true. But, and I don't need to know your personal, like, oh, I was in prison until last year and now I have 50,000 followers. You're like, okay. I think that's an actual story I saw. Like, I don't even want to spend my time reading these things because they're horrible. They all have the same format. There's this checklist of how to get YouTube. I'm sorry, how to get LinkedIn followers, how to get rankings, how to get, it's turning a crank. It's just garbage. But the graph is okay, knowing where people are and so on. But again, if they don't respond, it becomes less and less interesting to maintain that. So really, after CES, pretty much, on the off chance that I encounter someone at CES that I would want to connect with in some way for any discussions. But for the most part, people are solipsistic in this regard, so they don't really get back to you unless they need something and so on. So kind of losing interest in that. I prefer to re-embrace self-publishing like the good old days, embracing decentralization. I'm in on the Fediverse. I don't think that AT Proto, the blue sky platform, is as appealing. I don't think it's as functionally open. You can see this, I think. I have not explored the AT Proto universe in the past 6 months, but slower adoption. Blue Sky is still the home base. Mastodon as a platform. There are thousands of servers, and there will be a Mastodon.Vegas server any day now. It's on the list. But we've owned that domain for way too long now, and so the time is right. We can use it as a donation driver, hopefully. But we can fully embrace ActivityPub, which is the sort of more open version of AT Proto. AT Proto is open source, but ActivityPub has been around longer, I think, and is a little bit easier to implement if you want to self-host anything. I think AT Proto has huge data requirements by comparison. I think AT Proto is somebody is working on the caching mechanism so you don't get the slashed out effect. And it's interesting because it's built on top of activity streams, which are built on top of the semantic web and various vocabularies that have been around, and it's the notion of structured data and so on. So I think it's an interesting approach, and I think it's worthy of investigating further in our Smarter Smart City plans for Innovate for Vegas. And so I'd like to embrace more of a self-hosted Fediverse looking place on the internet and so on. So yeah, less LinkedIn, a primary point of publication, not depending on Spotify. Use Spotify, that syndicate elsewhere, right? Use Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, YouTube to spread the word. But if Apple Podcasts were to kick me off today, oh no, I lost all of my content, right? All of my videos and all of my followers. Like, make sure that people know where to find you outside. And this was happening in the YouTube, cancel heavy part of the timeline. People were getting canceled, and then they would, we lost all of our followers. We lost all the, and you're like, well, you shouldn't hand all of your brand over to somebody else. That's why I don't like LinkedIn DMs, for example. Send me an email. Don't send me a LinkedIn direct message. Send me an email. And then you got people, oh, well, if you don't use WhatsApp, WhatsApp. We all use WhatsApp. Like, okay, good for you. Well, really, you should use WhatsApp so you can get in on our chat room thing. Like, well, why are you using a platform that I have to install an application and sign up for something with a company that has nothing but your monetization at their is their motivation, right? To monetize your participation. So they're providing you with this service that's ultimately unhealthy. I'm not a fan of Meta. So yeah, why do you require, I should say, for people to participate in your conversation, to participate through a chaperone? Sorry, you got to use the LinkedIn chat DM thing that we have. Well, why? So I'm a big fan of the Matrix. not the movie. The movie is fine, actually. But Matrix server, matrix.org. They have a decentralized chat platform. So you can do chat discussion groups. You can do one-on-one, end-to-end encrypted. I believe they support voice. I've never tried the voice, but it's essentially like an open version of Telegram or Signal. So encrypted, you control your own server. If your friend has a server and you have a server, you basically communicate between servers, so you don't have to go sign up for their platform. So I mean, just there's so much technology at our disposal that people are kind of leaving because, okay, somebody has to manage it and so on. But, personally, I think our smarter smart city that is Vegas will be a smarter smart city. And by the way, it's not a smart city. It doesn't appear on any of the smart cities of the world lists. Oh, Vegas is a smart city. We have municipal internet, sort of, in some places. And they are doing a fiber build out, and they're trying to get more people minimal internet access in more rural communities. Most of Nevada population is either in the Reno area, Washoe County, they're in the Vegas area, or Clark County, and then everything else is very rural. So getting everybody in the state to be connected on the internets is a challenge. The government BEAD program enabled some of that. They're pulling more fiber. Google Fiber will be available in Vegas any day now. They've been doing a lot of advertising for that. So, but yeah, personally, I think the 2025 has provided me with that final bit of proof, that little push, that time spent on impoopified platforms. Impoopification is I'm keeping it clean. That's the Cory Doctorow book that I've been, I'm over halfway done with it, but it's the 3 stages of awful. We are very much into phase 3 where companies just care about themselves. LinkedIn is awful. It's owned by Microsoft. Don't forget that. Twitter, awful. Blue Sky, they're backed by some Bitcoin people or cryptocurrency people, and Mark Cuban is all in on that. That's a bad sign right there. So yeah, decentralized is the way to go. Interoperable protocols, not platforms. So ActivityPub, you can implement that. And same with AT-Proto, but not as easily, I think. But you can implement that across different services. There's already an Instagram thing called PixelFed. So you can federate your your picture galleries and so on. There's Loop, which is a federated shorts implementation. There's PeerTube, which is a federated video sharing platform. They all use ActivityPub. So not totally thrilled with the messaging scheme that they're not always compatible with how they share the content that's posted and whatnot, but you can follow people across these platforms using the ActivityPub scheme. So I think there's a lot of interesting possibility. I think the explosion of federation and self-hosting and being creative in the space it will make for some interesting times in the coming 2 to 3 years. So especially, X has become the worst. I'm not a fan. Not everybody's evil or anything like that, but it's just become like it's a tool, but it's not a tool for its users. It's a tool for the owner. So I think that should be concerning. Anyway, I wish I had more excitement to describe and reflect upon. 2025 has been more of a revealing year about a few things to me personally, about people and the state of the world and all that fun stuff. I'm sure others have noticed some of these things. I myself am hoping 2026 will be a year to spend taking advantage of various lessons from 2025. Time will tell, of course. And I can talk about it all day on any of however many audio programs I produce. And there's always room for one more, and that would, of course, be quite literally Hugo Floss, which is my goal is to make that into like a streaming thing, focus more on the Vegas area, but not necessarily only. There are people do this they do it already. There are when I talk about Las Vegas, which is not to be confused with Talk About Vegas, which is I think a YouTube slop channel, but Talk About Las Vegas.com, I think. That person, Ira something, seems to have tons of actual interviews with actual humans, a lot of comedians, and some authors and some performers. Vegas has a lot of performance going on with stage shows and so on, residences. So that looks like it's an interesting example. I do more economics or systemic ecosystem, entrepreneurial innovation ecosystem stuff, trying to make our smart city smarter, production by a street. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Everything's an experiment, but yeah, I have a lot of work to do. So we'll see if I can do that. I can't think of anything else. We're just at 1 hour by my clock. The truncation of silence will bring it back down towards probably 55 minutes, but that's fine. 2025 seemed like a long year, but I think 55 minutes is a good enough for this one. Do recall, I'm doing a retrospective episode for all of my audio programs. So there will be one more to produce this week for Cafe Genius Impresarios. We'll look back a little bit more at some of this local economy situation and the terrain on which entrepreneurs will be operating for the coming year. I don't think it's a good picture that we have right now. I think it's got to be much more entrepreneurial. A lot of people here seem to be waiting for someone else to clear a path, so to speak. I'm sure I'll have more to say about that. In the meantime, that's where I'm going to leave it. Happy New Year. Thanks for listening. If you have been listening to Coffee Solo to this whole time, it must be you. You're the one. If you are able to capture any of my other episodes and become interested in them, be sure and follow them using your favorite podcast tools or platforms, your favorite podcatcher. I need to make all of my programming more easily accessible on more platforms. There's an RSS feed. Hopefully that is useful to many people. But we'll try to make it even more easier to follow and subscribe. And I would like to have more guests, certainly on Cafe Genius Impresarios. The impresarios are supposed to be entrepreneurs and innovators here in the greater Vegas area or beyond. So talking to more people there. FFS Talk is explicitly designed to have conversations and debates and so on. So I really need to start leaning into having those conversations rather than posting monologues, which I prefer to think of as seeds planted for future discussions. Quaggling Sand is by design a monologue, so that's probably no guest there. And then Let's Innovate for Vegas. Really got to get some more interaction going beyond Vegas. I call this the Civic Volunteer Winter. I think it's not just in Vegas, but definitely in Vegas. People are focused more on the near term and some other chaos in the world. So I don't know that civic volunteerism is front of mind for many people, but that just means we have to do something interesting to get that attention back. So eventually I think we'll get back into conversations online and more of not an interview, but more a conversation style for Let's Innovate for Vegas. Like, hey, what are we working on? Here's the progress. Do a little online demo, talk about future plans and so on, more than just me doing some of those things. So, okay, that's all. Don't forget this audio program is published first on ko-fi.com, ko-fi.com/danhugo/posts. Then sometime shortly thereafter, it is posted on the Spotify for Creators portal thing for Coffee Solo. And then it is spread to the world. And the world should be a bigger place. So hopefully it'll be more findable in more places. And that is where I'm going to leave today's episode. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and Happy Hanukkah, and Happy Kwanzaa. And there are many more holidays that no one ever talks about. So that is something that I think should be more easily accessible to people, is like I'm not talking about like, I don't celebrate those holidays, therefore, no. What I am saying is that people, different cultures, different peoples do different things. The world is overly focused on Christmas. That's just one of many. So yeah, I just think that people should be a little bit more aware of who's celebrating what. And by all means, if someone comes up to me and says, hey, Happy Hanukkah, I'll say it back to them. Why not? Like, I'm just not a fan of, I don't celebrate Hanukkah. Okay. Well, neither do I. And yet, why would I refuse the well wishes of someone else in these weird times or any time? So whatever you're celebrating, I hope you're doing it well with people that you enjoy being with, even if it's just yourself. Take care now, and we'll do another episode of this program when it seems appropriate. Bye-bye.